These are the faces of criminals that have been arrested. These are false accusers. Look at all these faces. And we all know, everyone, that societies do not want to arrest women. They don't want to put them behind bars. So with this many faces, this shows you this is the tip of the iceberg. So I don't want to hear any of this. Why can't we all get along? And men and women are natural partners. No, women are hostile to men. They see us as the other. And false accusations are the standard. They're common and always have been. And of course, this disgusting Buzzfeed article tries to paint these criminals as the victims. Vulnerable women are routinely prosecuted and imprisoned for false rape claims in the UK. Notice they're leaving out that these women are not, they're not innocent. They are criminals. They're imprisoned because they belong there. It's not uncommon, or sorry, it's not uncommon for judges to call these women wicked. Good. One male judge said the victim had betrayed the sisterhood. This male judge is portraying himself. For him to say that means he's recognizing that their women do see themselves as the opposite side of men, right? The sisterhood is about, putting men behind bars. This is what he's angry about. This judge wants to throw men in jail, whether they're innocent or guilty, right? And these women are bugging it up for him. And now he has to, put a woman behind bars. Oh no! Now they talk about this rape case against Rainan, or however you say her name, Brooker's ex-partner had fallen apart. Rainan had accused him of assaulting her numerous times over a 2-year period. Oh, wow. So that's embarrassing. She didn't just say once, she said multiple times. But detectives had found discrepancy in her story shortly after they arrested him, so prosecutors dropped the charges. Elsewhere around the world, that would have been likely the end of it. That is shameful. The fact that someone could waste the police time and attack an innocent man, and all they're going to do is just say, oh, well, it didn't work. Okay. So, and they're saying, oh, no, this is bad that these false accusers, these criminals, are actually put behind bars. Now, instead, the police in Bristol, they called the 28-year-old back to the station for another interview. Rainan thought the purpose of the meeting was to bolster the case against her ex. The police were indeed trying to make a case against her. Notice that this woman wasn't arrested. Her man was arrested at her word and questioned. She was merely questioned. So BuzzFeed is trying to make it so that it's like they're blindsiding her, but they're not. She is privileged. She has rights that the man doesn't. They can't just outright arrest her. Right? They only had to question her. What Rainan did not know, she answered that detectives' questions, that she was now suspect of perverting the course of justice by fabricating her allegations. She's not just a suspect. She was actually put behind bars. So she was perverting the course of justice, and she was fabricating her allegations. So look how this disgusting article frames this. Now, the crime carries a maximum sentence of life in prison. Well, all of us guys know that these women don't get that. Who do you know that what woman has ever been put away for life in prison for false allegation? None. Usually they get probation or a year or two tops, right? Now, this should anger you. British authorities are supposed to exercise extreme caution when deciding whether to prosecute someone for lying about rape. In other words, they're supposed to be extremely cautious about jailing women. That's what it is, because we all know this is from women to men. It's a one-way street. They weren't cautious at all for arresting the man she accused, did they? They just went in, swooped up, and picked him up. Especially if the person is vulnerable or it's unclear whether the accusation was made maliciously. Well, they didn't arrest her. So they found out if it was malicious. They found out if she was lying. And how is she vulnerable? She isn't. She just mean when they say vulnerable, she means she's female. So don't arrest her if she's female. Now, of course, they talk about, in fact, detectives blindsided Raiden when they arrested him without her knowledge or consent. See what I'm talking about? It is in standard practice for the police to arrest a man once a woman has accused him of something. It's stacked against men. They shouldn't have arrested him. They should have simply questioned him like they did with her. And she was, when they said blindside, in other words, she wanted to hold this over his head at any time. But since they went ahead, they found out she was lying her ass off. And this is a no-no according to Buzzfeed here, right? As investigators considered charging Rainin, one voiced the concern had nothing to do with the evidence against her documents seen by BuzzFeed News Show. There was a reputational risk to the police if her ex made a complaint or went to the media. Now, we all know by now that the media is a waste of time for men, right? But at the same time, the police were worried that they might be exposed for what they are, that they're male hostile. The men in the UK aren't citizens. The women are citizens and the men are subhumans, which they attack relentlessly. And they don't want to be exposed for that. And it's shameful that BuzzFeed frames it in this way because they should be against her for the evidence. They should be gung-ho to put these criminals behind bars. When the recording light went on the interview room, detectives told Rainin the prosecutors just want to clarify some material, which is true. Actually, that's not a lie. They told her it was all completely standard, which it is. Hopefully, they said she wouldn't have to come back again. And that's not a lie. These police officers didn't want to arrest this woman for the simple fact that she's a woman. They didn't do anything sneaky to this woman. Everything is in her favor. And of course, they talk about the questioning. Now, should piss you off. Rainin is now convicted criminal, virtually unemployable, and forever tarred as a liar. They're painting this criminal as a victim. So what if she's tarred as a liar? She is a liar. And this is also something that should anger you. She's unemployable. So what? When men are unemployable, they become homeless. When women are unemployable, they shack up with a man. You guys know there's all kinds of women who are part-timers that are shacked up with a full-time man. And they live a full-time existence off their part-time pay. You know, that being unemployable doesn't hurt women. And of course, she's a convicted criminal. She is a criminal. And look, they show this, this pretty picture of her face, like here's this poor innocent criminal. She's female, so we can't put her behind bars for her crimes. Disgusting. Of course, BuzzFeed News investigation has found UK authorities are exceptionally aggressive in pursuing women for lying about rape, prosecuting hundreds over the past decades. Exactly. Good. This is a good thing. You know why? Because they don't want to be exposed for what they are. The Crown Prosecution Service, the state prosecutor for England and Wales, has even written rules for whom to target and when, something our Western countries don't do, experts say. Yeah, these prosecutors want to get the man. I want you guys to understand that is about getting the man. And they don't want these false accusers screwing things up. They really don't mind that these women are false accusers. They mind that they don't get it right. That's what they're saying. Don't be obvious about your lying. So we might have to jail you. The policy is meant to restrain law enforcement from going after people who did not make clear and malicious accusations, those who are young or mentally ill, or those who have experienced past abuse. Right. So this is a get out of jail free card. The woman says, I was abused in the past. Oh, my dear, so we can't put you behind bars. So, I mean, the reason why they have these rules is to protect women who are lying. And yet these women can't help themselves. So Buzzfeed is saying, look at this, like these liars, I mean, everything is in women's favor and they can't help themselves. False rape complaints can ruin lives. They can ruin lives, they do ruin lives. Even suspects who are quickly exonerated can face public scrutiny and lose their jobs and reputations. Exactly. Now, look, the UK, however, seems to have a unique appetite for prosecuting false allegations. An American law professor who studies false rape reports, she said she has not found another Western country that encourages charges against suspected false rape reporters as a matter of policy. That is shameful. It's shameful that other Western countries don't have this policy. Nor has she been able to find a case in which an American accused of falsely reporting rape has faced jury trial. Well, that just means America should be ashamed of itself, and Canada. Look, it is not in the public interest to aggressively prosecute disbelieved rape complaints. So when she says it's not in the public interest, she's saying that the women are the public and the men aren't. Women are citizens of the country and the men aren't. Because she's just admitted that it's in the public interest that innocent men should go to jail, whether they're guilty or not. Men should just be thrown in jail. Rape victims commonly express the concern that the police do not believe them and do not take them seriously. They do. What they just said in this article, these policemen were very seriously. They arrested the man at her word. That is as serious as it gets. And these types of prosecutions only serve to reinforce the victim's fear of being treated poorly if they come forward. No, this is a total bull-faced lie. A woman only has to fear if she's a false accuser. Because if she actually was raped, first of all, rape is very, very rare. I want to make you guys unclear about this, okay? This is pissing me off. Okay? It's very rare. And the only reason, if they came forward and they were actually raped, the evidence would the evidence would prove it. Even if there's not enough evidence to put the man behind bars, the woman won't be put behind bars. But this woman who was put behind bars, her story was bunk, and they knew it because he was a false accuser. So this is just disgusting. So I want to point out again that this is the tip of the iceberg. This is common practice by the common woman everywhere. And the authorities have it all geared up to throw a man behind bars at a woman's word. And in the case of the UK, they're throwing women behind bars who deserve it, and they're being shown or framed as victims. Disgusting. Buzzfeed, disgusting. So, I mean, you guys have the complete right to be angry, but also this shows you that men need to fight for their rights. Do you understand that? In the Western world, we need to retool the legal system. Men have to stop being blasé about this and putting their heads down and hiding their heads in the sand. We have to actually join the MRM, make it effective, and start fighting for our rights. Men do not have rights. Legally, we are not citizens of the country, not second-class citizens, not citizens at all. These are the citizens of the country, and we aren't them. So we'll end it here.